I read this saying once, and I always remember it. It's we often suffer more in our heads than in real life, and I feel like with everything, especially in this day and age, a lot of people, they overthink, overanalyze, over what's the word? Besides overthink, I don't think there's a better word to describe it. But they don't do anything without completely dissecting every single atom of whatever it is that they're gonna do. Let's talk about fitness and gym, for example, right? If someone's quite new especially in this day and age, right, they probably know a little bit about gym, probably know a little bit about fitness just from school. From school, they were taught PE, they were taught diet and whatnot. But ever since then, they probably don't know anything else besides that. Just to say, for the sake of this video, that's the person that we're talking about. And then randomly, this person gets an epiphany. Okay, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Let's start going to the gym. Clothes are no longer fitting. They're getting a bit old. Their joints are hurting a bit. They're like, you know what, I need to put on some strength, put on some muscle, because getting older, it'll be a lot harder for me. So in order to basically future-proof and take care of themselves, they're like, I want to go to the gym. So what will the person do? They're going to go on YouTube and write in fitness for over 40s, fitness for such and such a person, fitness for, if it's a brown guy, hopefully they'll search in fitness for brown guys, and my video comes up on their feed. But for most people, they'll proper dissect everything. There's no kind of go with the flow. If it is, it's something which they're forced to kind of go with the flow. Does that make sense? So they'll try and plan everything, try and predict everything. They'll try and control as much as possible, which is within their scope of reality, right? And then they'll get to a point, they're like, you know what, I can't control this. Forget it. I'm gonna suck it. I'm gonna go with the flow, which really makes no sense. Of course, with the gym, with fitness, you do want to research a bit. You want to know what kind of routine you want to do. You want to have a rough idea of what you're going to do. But some people, they take it to this next level extreme where they're paralyzed. They're torn between one routine. For example, they're torn between a push-pull leg split. They're torn between a bro split. They're torn between a 5x5. They're torn between, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And it's the most retarded thing ever. But the thing is, to retard max, to basically be a retard, is to just do things without thinking. So I feel like the people who are, I wouldn't even say clever, but the people who are going somewhere, the people who are going to get results, they just start. They kind of research something. They find a routine. Whoever's video is probably the most viewed, they'll probably click on that YouTube video, and they'll basically next day they'll be like, you know what, I'm going to start my routine. I'm going to do this and this. But the retard, the person who's actually a bit daft, the person who actually not analyzes, but basically does every single thing. They analyze every single thing. They'll watch the first video, the second video, the third video, the fourth video. And the thing is, the more influencers you watch, the more, I won't say brainwashed, the more people's ideology, their way of thinking, their way of training rubs off on you. And if you're a complete beginner, you watch, say, 10 different YouTube videos. Every single person has a different routine, more or less. And you're like, and what will happen to that person? They'll obviously be stuck. They're like, I don't know what to do. I need someone to basically tell me. I need to get in contact with someone, an expert. And then what will happen is, I bet, I don't say I bet, but I'm willing to pay good money and give good money that this person, even if they had a coach, they probably wouldn't really listen to the coach. They're like, you know what, they'll probably say, you know what, X YouTuber said this, so why am I doing this? X YouTuber's like this. I don't know. It's just gym and fitness and health, to be fair, anything for that matter. The way to get results is to start moving, is to start doing stuff. And gym and fitness, like anything else, it is not different in any sense whatsoever. If you're someone who's overweight at the moment, you know what you have to do, right? It's not, you're not stupid, you're not daft. Everyone who's fat knows what they need to do. They need to lose weight. And how do they lose weight? They eat a little bit less and they exercise a little bit more. Or if they have loads to lose, they'll do that for longer. Or they might want to do more in a short space of time, so they lose more weight. In reality, if someone's quite skinny, then they're same thing. They'll eat a little bit more, they'll work out a little bit more. They might not do certain things which the person who needs to lose weight does, but that's obviously natural. So being in good shape, being a person who's on self-improvement, a person who's trying to improve themselves, it's literally all about retardmaxxing. And this is kind of something I'm realizing quite recently. The person who always analyzes everything, the person who needs to have a proper, clear, distinct path, which is a clear and straight path, right? If there's any kind of bends and curves on the path, then this person's no use whatsoever, and they're very, very likely they'll quit. I'll give you some more examples. If you're not making progress in the gym, this was me for a while, right? I wasn't retardmaxxing at this point, so I was actually being an idiot. I wasn't making progress whatsoever. What should I have done if I was retardmaxxing? I would have realized, you know what, I'm not making progress. Let's change something. But I don't know why the reason was that I actually didn't make any changes. I think I was just going through I was definitely just going through the motions at the gym. But if you're someone like that, you're actually not sure. You're like, Ismail, I'm not making any progress in the gym. I need to make some changes. Or what can be the factors that can be, contributing to this, that I'm not making any gains? It's probably your sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, if your sleep's inconsistent, if you're always waking up and your sleep's basically disrupted, because what happens then, you don't get a full restful sleep. If you're not it depends if you're on a cut or not, but even if you're on a cut, you should at least be maintaining the strength that you have. Well, do as much as you can, literally, because the first time when I lost 30 pounds, I went through a phase of, not a phase, but I had that thinking that, you know what, I'm on a cut. So it's fine if I lose some strength. Like, I didn't do everything in my capability, in my within my scope of control to do as much as possible. I kind of just admitted defeat. I'm like, I'm gonna do some strength on some lifts, and I just got on with it. But when I lost weight the second time in 2021, I did everything I could. I literally, even on some lifts, I actually put on some kind of strength, and because of that, I feel like I actually went through a bit of a recomposition. However, make sure you're eating enough, you're eating the right amount of protein, you have some kind of creatine as well, you're getting in your creatine. Now, if your energy is a bit off, you can mess around with some pre-workout, have some honey with some salt and your creatine. That is a very, very good pre-workout. It's a homemade one as well, and if your honey is good, like a local raw honey, then you'll be absolutely fine. And another thing is rest between your sets. I say sometimes, but sometimes when I work out with my friend, I kind of don't have enough and I don't have enough rest between some of the sets, especially if we're doing some massive lifts, like some compound lifts, like squats or something like that. What tends to happen is I'll do my set, he'll put on whatever weight he's putting on or he's taking off, and then as soon as he's done his set, I put my weight on and I jump back on. So realistically, in between the sets, I'm not even getting a minute's rest. So sometimes I be mindful. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to need a few minutes of rest between the set, and it's like, okay. And then when I go back to doing that set, I have a lot more strength, a lot more energy. I could do way more reps compared to like 20-30 seconds of rest. The next thing is, make sure your cardio levels are not, they're an acceptable level for whatever goal you have. If you're someone who's trying to lose weight and you're doing loads and loads of cardio, then you're probably doing too much, because too much cardio can make you lose muscle if you're not getting enough protein, if you're losing strength. Because you have to remember, the reason you have that muscle is because you can move heavy weights. And if you lose that ability to move heavy weights, you will definitely have some kind of strength loss, some muscle loss. So it is a very fine balance. It's a very fine balance. If I could recommend something, I would always recommend doing zone 2 cardio for most of the week. And if you want to put in like a day or two of sprinting, And if you want to condition your heart, maybe a mile or 2 mile run, you do not need anything more besides that every single week. And you could lose weight for months and months, especially if you're someone who has, a considerable amount to lose, like more than a stone. Some people be like, I've got so much weight to lose, and they have like 4 kilograms to lose. I'm like, I lost around 15 kilograms, 14, 15 kilograms. And I was doing sports quite a bit. I was fasting, I was getting my protein, and it's quite simple. If you don't retard max it, it is very, very simple. It is very, very difficult. You start overthinking. You're like, shall I do this right now? Shall I do that right now? Is this gonna affect my weight loss? Is this gonna affect this? It's just do stuff. Just do stuff. It's the most simple and most easiest thing. It's like a law of the dunya, basically. Do stuff and you will be rewarded. And if you don't, if you're like, you know what, I'm doing stuff, this is not the desirable outcome that I want, then you can make some changes and go from there. It's always, your life is about learning. So don't feel like there's a linear path to the goal, where you are right now, and to the goal, or where you're trying to get. And stop overthinking, man. Stop overthinking. If you're gonna take one thing from this Retardmaxxing video, stop overthinking. Keep things a bit serendipitous. Have some serendipitous nature about yourself. And yeah, and I think that's it, boys. This should be enough for this week's version. Oh, not this week's version. This week's volume of the Retardmaxxing diaries. So yeah, the most important thing to always remember about gym, about fitness, is just be retard about it, man. Start Retardmaxxing. Just start doing stuff. Don't worry too much about everything else. If you're after a proper training routine, a diet program, how to cook, how to sleep, nutrition videos, supplement videos, and everything else, check out my Skool community. The link will be in the description below, the first one. Click on that. Thank you.